Earth has lost every plant. No trees, no grass, no crops, no green life anywhere. At first, nothing looks destroyed, but something is already wrong. Within hours, food systems begin failing silently. Supply chains break. Ecosystems start collapsing in the background while the world keeps moving. Then scientists realize it too late. Plants weren't just part of Earth. They were holding the entire system together, and now that system is collapsing. This is Protocol Zero Green. This is what happens when Earth survives 7 days without plants. Day 1 begins with confusion. Nobody understands what happened overnight. Cities wake up normally. Traffic moves. Stores open. People continue their routines without realizing the planet has already changed forever. Every tree is gone. Every forest has disappeared. Grass, flowers, crops, every form of plant life has vanished without leaving a trace. At first, governments assume it's some kind of biological attack or atmospheric event. But within hours, panic starts spreading online as millions of people upload the same impossible images from every country on Earth. Empty parks, dead farmland, forests reduced to silent gray wastelands. Animals begin reacting first. Birds abandon cities in massive uncontrolled formations. Insects disappear from entire regions within hours. Farmers report complete agricultural failure before noon. And while the world still tries to stay calm, scientists begin realizing something terrifying. This wasn't just the disappearance of nature, it was the removal of the system supporting all life on Earth. By the end of day 1, humanity still believes the crisis can be reversed. But Earth has already entered irreversible collapse. Atmospheric balance begins breaking apart on day 2. The sky looks different. Sunlight becomes harsher. The air turns strangely heavy in crowded regions, and people start reporting headaches, dizziness, and sudden exhaustion without understanding why. Emergency broadcasts continue non-stop, but confidence disappears quickly once supply shortages become impossible to hide. Supermarkets are stormed before sunrise, fuel stations run dry, delivery networks collapse across entire countries. Police lose control of major commercial zones as panic spreads faster than official information. Meanwhile, the planet itself starts reacting violently. Temperatures spike in unstable waves across multiple continents. Dense clouds form without rain. Coastal winds become erratic. Cities experience sudden heat surges strong enough to overload electrical grids. Hospitals enter emergency status before midnight. Respiratory wards overflow. Backup generators fail in several regions. Ambulance response times become nearly impossible in heavily populated areas. And beyond the cities, Earth becomes silent in a way humanity has never experienced before. No buzzing, no movement in the soil, no sound coming from the forests at night. By the end of day 2, scientists stop searching for solutions because they finally realize this is no longer an environmental disaster. It's planetary system failure. Day 3 begins with the first global oxygen alerts. Major cities report measurable drops in breathable air, especially in crowded underground areas. Elevators, subway systems, and sealed buildings become dangerous zones as carbon dioxide starts concentrating faster than ventilation systems can remove it. People stop exercising. Running becomes painful. Even walking long distances leaves millions struggling for breath. Across the world, fires begin spreading uncontrollably. Without healthy ecosystems regulating moisture and temperature, forests ignite instantly from heat waves and electrical failures. Entire regions disappear behind walls of smoke thick enough to block sunlight during the middle of the day. Governments order citizens to remain indoors. Air filtration devices sell out globally within hours. Homemade oxygen rooms appear online. Panic spreads as survival suddenly depends on access to clean air. Then another system begins collapsing. Ocean oxygen production starts failing as microscopic marine plant life dies across massive sections of the planet's waters. Coastlines fill with dead fish. Shipping routes are abandoned after crews report toxic air conditions above parts of the ocean. For the first time in human history, Earth itself feels difficult to breathe on. By the end of day 3, humanity realizes this disaster is no longer local, political, or temporary. The planet is actively becoming uninhabitable. By day 4, breathing becomes a global crisis. Oxygen levels continue falling across major population centers, forcing emergency services to distribute portable tanks in cities already overwhelmed by panic and heat. But the real danger is no longer outside. Inside homes, offices, and underground shelters, carbon dioxide begins building to dangerous concentrations. People wake up disoriented. Families report sudden blackouts, confusion, and memory loss after spending too many hours in sealed environments. Entire apartment complexes fall silent overnight. Governments attempt controlled oxygen rationing for hospitals and critical infrastructure, but supply chains are too damaged to support billions of people at once. Air itself becomes a resource. Violence erupts near oxygen storage facilities. Military convoys transporting respiratory equipment are attacked before reaching evacuation zones. Black markets begin selling contaminated oxygen tanks assembled from industrial scrap. Meanwhile, Earth's atmosphere continues destabilizing. Toxic particles from uncontrolled fires spread across continents, turning rain acidic in multiple regions. Rivers become polluted with ash and chemical runoff, while massive animal die-offs contaminate water supplies faster than cleanup crews can respond. And above the planet, the sky starts changing color. Sunsets become dark crimson beneath layers of smoke and atmospheric imbalance. Sunlight weakens behind thick, toxic clouds, casting entire cities into permanent dim orange light. By the end of day 4, survival no longer depends on money, status, or borders. Only breathable air matters now. Day 5 begins with the first abandoned megacities. Entire downtown districts remain motionless for hours. No traffic, no crowds, no movement behind the towers once filled with millions. Food starts rotting everywhere. Without refrigeration or transport, supermarkets decay from the inside, while survivors search storage facilities for anything usable. Then temperatures begin rising further. Smoke trapped in the upper atmosphere turns many regions into unbearable heat zones during both day and night. Sleeping becomes difficult inside overcrowded shelters filled with noise and recycled air. Meanwhile, automated systems continue running alone. Empty trains move through silent stations, while emergency broadcasts repeat outdated warnings across dead cities. By the end of day 5, Earth no longer feels inhabited. It feels abandoned. Day 6 begins with the collapse of coordinated survival. Emergency shelters stop accepting new arrivals after oxygen reserves fall below critical levels. Locked entrances become gathering points for desperate civilians waiting outside with nowhere left to go. Inside the remaining safe zones, conditions deteriorate rapidly. Temperature control systems fail. Water supplies turn unreliable. Medical workers begin abandoning non-critical treatment to preserve limited resources for those still capable of recovery. Above ground, silence spreads further. Large sections of the planet remain completely inactive for entire days at a time. No transportation, no broadcasts, no visible human activity across once populated regions. Then the atmosphere changes again. A thick chemical haze begins covering major skylines, reducing visibility and turning daylight into a dim metallic glow. By the end of day 6, organized civilization no longer exists. Only isolated groups remain. Day 7 begins with something unexpected. Nothing new fails, nothing new collapses. There is simply less of everything than there was yesterday. The noise that once covered Earth is gone. No engines, no industry, no migration, no growth. For the first time in modern history, human activity is no longer shaping the planet. The planet is shaping humanity. The few remaining survivors spend more time searching than building, more time remembering than planning. And as another sunset arrives, a realization spreads across the world. Plants were never just part of the environment. They were the foundation beneath every system humanity believed it had created. By the end of day 7, Earth is still here, but the world that existed 7 days ago is not.